If you own a brand in 2022, you probably know by now that you should absolutely be on TikTok, whether it's through organic content or paid advertising. And I just wanted to make this video going over a few of the most common and most serious mistakes that a lot of brand owners make when they first start posting content to this platform. My name is Caleb, and I actually work with other brands to help them grow their content and their advertising on this platform. And so I just wanted to go over a few of the issues that I see most frequently. Now, the first issue is using Facebook creative on TikTok. And this says Facebook, but really this is just any form of long form content and thinking that it will work the same on this platform. Now, in reality, TikTok is a significantly different type of platform, and the content as such needs to be tailored very differently than the content on Facebook. And this is for a few reasons. Now, the first is a concept I describe as ad fatigue. Now, what I mean by this is I'm sure anybody who has been in the e-commerce space or just the online marketing space in general is aware that Facebook ads are not nearly as effective that as they used to be just even a few years ago. For example, in 2016 and 2017, you could post a Facebook ad and it would perform amazingly well, even without really any proper targeting techniques or strategies. You could just target broadly and it would work very effectively. However, as the years have gone by, the consumer market has adapted and has become more used to the type of advertising that's used on Facebook. Now, when consumers are scrolling their feed on Facebook, for example, they can quite easily pick out what is an ad and what is not. And this really leads to ad fatigue. Now, this is going to occur when your audience sees your ads so often that they become bored with them and they stop paying attention. Now, ad fatigue can apply more specifically to your individual ads. If you post the same ad over and over again, for example, then your customers will get used to it. But it also applies in a broader sense to the type of marketing in general. And this is really the stage that we are at with a lot of Facebook marketing. And this is why brands who are posting the same types of creative on Facebook to TikTok, it's simply not going to be effective because the market is so used to this type of advertising. Instead, what you want to do is tailor your content more towards the type of content that is on TikTok. Now, this is really, there's another very large reason why this type of content is not going to work on TikTok. And that's because if you ever watch somebody on TikTok, their attention span is so short. You have such a tiny time frame to capture your viewers' attention that you can't simply use traditional long form advertising or minute plus videos on TikTok and think that it will be as effective. You need to be short, to the point, and capture attention as quickly as possible. Now, the second mistake that I see a lot of people make on TikTok, and this is kind of different to the first point or the first mistake that people use, is neglecting sales concepts altogether. Now, while I previously said that the market is used to traditional advertising, they are used to seeing what an ad is. This does not mean that you need to completely neglect all type of advertising technique and sales technique. You still need to have the components and the structure of a creative that is meant to actually move your prospect to a place of non-interest to interest. You still need to convince your prospect to buy through your ad. Now, the mistake in question here is really just taking the opposite of this too far. And now what I mean by this is a lot of brands will understand that their market does not want to see advertisements. And so they make their content too casual. And I see this all the time where brands will try to appeal to the normal type of content that's on the platform. They'll try to appeal to the trends. And in doing so, they almost forget that they need to sell their product. There is a difference between having good casual content and having content that is still meant to perform and meant to convert your prospects. So regardless of whether or not you want it to look like an advertisement, you still need a sales funnel and you still need a creative structure. Now, I want to show you traditionally for our TikToks and the content that we work with, what is the best converting format and the best converting structure of a creative that we work with. Now, this is not for every single brand. It all depends on the type of content that you're posting. But traditionally, if it works for the brand and for the market in that niche that we're targeting, this is what we want our creatives to look like. You need a hook. This is the most important part. I should probably bold this, underline it. It's the most important part. You need to capture your viewers' attention. When people are scrolling on TikTok, have you ever watched somebody? They'll spend less than a second before they decide that they're bored and they want to move on to the next video. So the hook is really important. Next, you need to address the problem. This is, of course, if your product solves a problem. Address the problem and the pain point, then show your product, show the benefits of the product and the features. Again, you don't want to overload with too many features. You don't want to bore the prospect, but you still want to show what the product does. And then finally, you want to show the desired state. So introduce the problem after the hook. And then after you introduce the problem, you want to show your product as a solution to this problem. And then finally, this is the part that I see so many brands neglect as well. You need to have a clear and solid call to action. So whether it's showing your website, showing where they can buy the product, you need to have some sort of call to action to actually motivate your prospects to convert. So that's typically the structure that we like to work with for most of our creatives. But again, you need to have some sort of structure in place, including sales concepts like the hook, introducing the problem and the pain points, showing your product as a solution. I see so many brands trying to make casual content and fit in with the rest of the content on their customers' feeds. And in doing so, they forget that they still need sales concepts in their videos if they want to convert. And finally, the final issue that I see a lot of brands make, and I would say this is in all caps for a reason. This is probably the most important mistake that I see a lot of brands make, is ignoring their own market. Now, what I mean by this is so many brands and so many people on TikTok who want to grow will do so much research into discovering what the current trends are, what the current sounds to use are, what the best hooks to use are. And this is all great and this is all necessary. But in doing so, a lot of brands and people on TikTok will simply forget that they need to listen to their specific market more than anything else. And not every trend or hook or sound, not every one of these concepts is going to fit with your brand. There are a lot of trends that simply aren't in alignment with what your market is actually looking for or what they want to do. So my suggestion, and this is something that we do for all of the brands we work with, is to take a look at the hashtags that are related to your market. It doesn't matter what your industry is. If you are in the beauty industry, if you're in the pet product industry, regardless of what your industry is, you will have a few keywords and hashtags associated with your brand. Click on these hashtags and just do some market research. Look at what is going viral. Look at what is performing well. This will give you an idea of all of these concepts. This will give you an idea of what trends to use, what hook to use, what sounds to use. This is the most effective way. Rather than just looking generally at what's trending, you want to look at what's trending specifically for your brand. So these are the three biggest mistakes that I see so many brands use or make whenever they are using content for TikTok. So just to summarize, using the wrong type of creative for the platform, neglecting the fact that these need to perform, they need to convert, and also just ignoring their market. If you avoid using all of these mistakes, then I think you'll save a lot of time and money. If this video helped you at all, feel free to like and subscribe. I plan on taking YouTube a lot more seriously and posting a lot more content related to TikTok and creating content on TikTok. So subscribe and look out for more videos in the future. I hope this helped.